Hello, Elizabeth. I was reading your writing. Everything's making really good sense here. Really good consideration of color. Um, let's go ahead and take a look at the logo. I'm just not, boy, I'm not sure about the green and black combination there. I think it's it's going to create some ambiguity when this has to go to a one color. Eventually, at some point in time, all logos are going to have to be presented on one color, either black on white or one color logo, and that's going to be problematic with this configuration. I'll describe that in 1 second. Um, but I do have some good recommendations for moving forward. I think will make a lot of sense to you. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here's your logos, and then here's this logo. So it looks like this logo is. I'm going to separate these. I want to take a look at these at the same time. So let me see what is going to be the best way for me to do that. Okay. Okay, so it looks like this is a variation of this, but for some reason this is a lot thicker and beefier, and it doesn't have some of the finesse that this has. I think that what ended up happening is that it's quite likely that you placed a stroke on here to increase the stroke width. So if you outline this, then I would recommend not doing it. And I'll get into the reasons for in 1 second. I think this is a good configuration right here. I think this is nice. I think this is really nice too. This last one's a little bit too ornate, but we'll talk about these in just 1 second. Let me talk about this now. The reason I find this to be problematic is, as I said, at one point in time, you are always going to have to present that logo on either one color or black on white, or even white on black, or in any sort of reverse nature in that regard. So one of the problems is if we transpose this to all black, this is just going to get really bulky right through here, where these two strokes converge. And also this is going to become ambiguous right here too as well, because you're going to get these kind of try it, transpose this to all black, and you'll see what I mean. For that reason, I would recommend keeping this. And one of the reasons you have this is you have these kerns. You have basically one on top of the other, so they're overlapping, and that's going to be problems when it comes time to transpose into a one-color logo or black on white. I'm perfectly fine with this. I also think this is quite nice as well. Now, one thing I would recommend is you want to create some hierarchy in your logo itself. So you're using this monogram and your name combination, which is great, but I also recommend including your discipline into this. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head but what your discipline is, but I'm just going to use graphic design for an example, okay? So what we would do here is you have your logo mark, right? And then what you would do is you would remove the name, pull it away from the logo mark, because again, eventually there's going to come a point in time where you're only going to use the logo mark. So we're going to pull this away. I would recommend placing Elizabeth Fraser on one line. Okay, that's a great typeface right there too. One line, so Elizabeth Fraser. Okay, and then underneath that, also you want to increase the relationship, the spatial relationship between the size of your name and the mark itself. I think right now the mark is a little too big. So anyways, Elizabeth Fraser, and then underneath, maybe even right aligned, or even center, whatever you want, but graphic design, or whatever your discipline is, right? So again, in summary, you've got logo, Elizabeth Fraser, graphic design. Okay, and I think that is really going to create a higher level of simplicity and memorability. I think it will be much more effective and much more versatile that way as well. So go ahead and try those changes. And I think this is a pretty good mark right here as well. So you could even try using that one as well, but I wouldn't overlap in this regard just yet. Or actually, I wouldn't recommend overlapping these because of the fact that eventually they will have to be transposed and used as one color or black on white. So we want to avoid any possible visual discomfort associated with that. And one of the best ways is to avoid kind of overlapping and stacking your type unless you have a specific solution in mind for the presentation of one color. Okay. All right. I hope my comments make sense, Elizabeth. Go ahead and let me know if I can clarify anything for you. But go ahead and reconfigure based on my recommendations and resubmit. We'll go ahead and make comments at that point. Okay, thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much, Elizabeth.